Shalom and good day all, this is the Helium29 back again for another indie comic review, and in this indie comic review I'll be covering Fence, Redemption issue 3 and also Robotech Rick Hunter issue 1. So I'll now get things prepared for the first one that I'll be covering in the review. And the first one that I'll be beginning with will be Fence Redemption issue 3. So first things first, does this cover of Fence connect to something that is happening inside of the story? Sure enough it does, but I want to lay down something to which sort of leaves to this cover actually losing a couple of points, is that I don't really enjoy this cover that much. The reason is how the characters have been depicted on the cover. Compared to the story that's inside, it's really good, including with the art. But the way how the characters on the cover have been drawn, I really don't like that much. I really wish that they would put a little bit more time into the characters on this particular cover. To which I give the cover a 6 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the next thing, and that is the internal art, which we'll have a look around the beginning, middle, and end, and also some of the things that are happening story-wise. So as the story begins, we've got some really nice art here, and we've got the characters of Seiji and Nicholas, and of course we have Nicholas going up against the opposition, to which we learn that the character's name is Rahul Taylor. And of course he ends up winning that round, but how many rounds does he win? I'll leave you to sort that out, or maybe even go pick up the series yourself so you can enjoy it some more. As we start to jump towards the middle of the story, we get to see some of the younger characters somewhat participate as well in the fencing, as well as the key characters. And we can see that one of the younger characters do actually win a medal. And last but not least, we slowly move towards the final bouts of what's happening in this particular story. And we get to see like some of the things that are happening within the story with some of the characters. I must admit, I really enjoyed the internal art for this, to which I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the story. First things first, did we get anything in relation to time? No, we didn't. Next is the location. They're at the Halverston Fencing Camp College. Next is the cast of characters, which is Nick, Seiji, Rahul, Harvard, Kyle, and last but not least, Jesse. For the overall story rating in this, I give a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the Robotech Rick Hunter. So with the beginning of a new series being reviewed on the channel, and I hopefully get time to review more of these issues on the channel. So we'll see how things go with that in the future. So first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Sure enough it does, to which we have the character of Rick Hunter there, and also I forget her name, but it's not Vinny. It might be Anatola. I'll have to double check that again. But apart from that, I give it an 8 out of 10, because what you see here is also what you get. So now it's time to move into the internal art around the beginning, middle, and end, and also some of the things that are happening story-wise with the key character of Rick Hunter. Alright, this is something that they put at the beginning of the book, which I think is really great, especially if you're someone who has not picked up something like this for quite a while. And I really appreciate them doing this, and I hope they continue to do this with each and every issue. And that is just giving an introduction as to what's happening in the story, and also what the story is about. We, of course, get our cast of characters who are appearing in the story, and we begin to move into the beginning of the story itself. And I must admit, I really like what they did here with the art. And as you enter the story, you've gone straight into the action. We jump a little bit further into the story, and we get to see Rick Hunter and that. And I think we also get a bit of a flashback here, but it's not very clear if it is or not. Linking to Rick Hunter. That's my only criticism towards that. And then we get to see what's happening in the skies. And Rick Hunter himself serving alongside fellow Air Force men. And last but not least, we move towards the end of the story, and we finally get to meet our villains. Now, one thing I do want to point out with this is actually something towards the end of this comic book. And I must admit, what a great way to even get new readers excited to picking up stuff Robotech related. And I think I'm going to have to go out of my way to collect these. Now, we've got ones that are based on sort of like some of the present stuff to where we're coming to now. And we've got Countdown, Bye Bye Mars, Blind Game. The list continues. And we also have some Robotech archive related stuff. So we've got the Macross Saga, which is something I'd really want to pick up. We've got the Sentinels all the way up to the Masters, and I think that is absolutely fantastic. But jumping to the main thing here, to which this is about the art rating, to which I give a 7.5 out of 10. So now it's time to move into the area of the story rating, and that is made up with the area of time, location, and cast of characters. With time, we got no indication of time, though there was an area in the book which should have sort of like given a bit of a flashback as to how long ago it was. That's probably my only minor criticism, but apart from that, let's move to the next area, to which we learn that this takes place in Yokohama in Japan. The next is the cast of characters, consisting of Rick Hunter, Vince Gratt, Roy Folker, Anatola Lanard, and Rogue Zenkrot. Forgive me if I butchered that, but overall, this was a really good introductory story to which we get to learn about Rick Hunter, his past, and also leading into the villain that this character will be going up against. We also get to see the Robotech that he pilots, and also get to see it in action too, not only at the beginning of the story, but also a little bit further in the story. So we get to see in a sort of like a non-offensive to an offensive approach, sort of like in both. But overall, I give this story a 7.5 out of 10, so I must admit it's actually quite high. Great job with the art. It worked really well for the story, and I hope it continues to be consistent each and every issue, because I could see these cover ratings maybe even get a 9 out of 10. So until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.